Look, I'm not with everyone here, but I will take a piece of him.
Riddick Furya is officially happening, and fans of the Vin Diesel-led sci-fi series have been waiting for this one for a long time. The franchise kicked off with Pitch Black back in 2000, followed by the Chronicles of Riddick in 2004 and Riddick in 2013. Over the years, it's built a dedicated cult following. Riddick started out as this dangerous criminal being transported to an off-world prison, but when the ship crash-landed on a terrifying monster-infested planet, his unique abilities became the group's best shot at survival. The Riddick series has always been a passion project for Vin Diesel, and a big reason for its success is his collaboration with writer-director David Twohy. Thankfully, both of them are back for Riddick Furya, and from the little details that have come out, it sounds like the wait will be worth it. This time, the movie is diving into Riddick's origins, something fans have been curious about for years. Sure, the release date is still up in the air, but that hasn't stopped the excitement from building. And speaking of excitement, Vin Diesel has already started teasing fans with set photos. Just a few days after filming kicked off, he posted an Instagram picture of himself in full Riddick mode, driving a dune buggy through a desert with a camera operator right beside him. If that's not a sign that things are finally moving forward, I don't know what is. Given that Riddick Furya is supposed to take us to Riddick's home planet, Furya, it's safe to assume that desert setting is where the action is about to unfold. Now, Diesel has been dropping hints about a fourth Riddick movie for years, but this time it's actually happening. The official announcement came in February 2023, and then by August 2024, filming had already begun. Sure, they haven't revealed a release date yet, but at least we know it's coming. It's wild to think about how far this series has come, from a small cult sci-fi film to a full-blown franchise spanning 2 decades. As for the cast, Vin Diesel is obviously back as Riddick, but beyond that, no one else has been confirmed yet. That being said, there's definitely potential for some big names to return. Actors like Karl Urban, Katee Sackhoff, and Dave Bautista, who are part of previous films, have only become more popular since 2013. If some of them return, it could give Riddick Furya a serious boost in mainstream appeal. With Diesel's star power already locked in, adding more familiar faces could make this the biggest Riddick film yet. Story-wise, this movie is doing something huge. It's finally taking Riddick home. The franchise has slowly built up the mystery around Furya, describing it as this brutal planet where only the toughest survive. Now, Riddick is heading back, but instead of finding answers, he walks straight into another fight for survival. He thought the threat would come from the necromongers, but it turns out the Furyans have an entirely different enemy to deal with. One of the most exciting teases about the plot came from a storyboard image Diesel shared on Instagram. It showed Riddick in a spacesuit, looking completely shocked, and the caption read, "Scene 10, the boy's eyes shine just like Riddick's." That one little detail says a lot. It hints that Riddick might not be as unique as we thought, and there could be more people like him out there. If that's the case, we might finally get some real backstory on his night vision, which has been one of his defining traits since Pitch Black. So while Riddick Furya is still a ways off, everything about it sounds like it's going to be a game changer for the franchise. It's been over a decade since the last movie, but this one could take things to a whole new level, both in terms of action and Riddick's story. Fans have been waiting a long time, and from what we know so far, it looks like it's going to be worth it. Building on what we already know about Riddick Furya, one of the biggest opportunities for this sequel is introducing new characters that could expand the world beyond what we've seen in the last 3 movies. The Riddick universe has always hinted at a much larger mythology, from the Furyans to the Necromongers and various mercenary factions. Now that Riddick is returning to his homeworld, there's a good chance we'll finally meet more of his own people, which could include characters drawn from the franchise's expanded lore. One possibility is the introduction of other surviving Furyans. So far, Riddick has believed himself to be the last of his kind, especially after learning that the Necromongers wiped out Furya. But if his people are still alive, then Furya could introduce other warriors with abilities similar to his, particularly the eye shine trait that gives him enhanced vision in the dark. This was teased in a storyboard image Vin Diesel shared, showing a boy with glowing eyes like Riddick's. This could mean he encounters young Furyans or even an older mentor figure who helps him unlock more of his hidden potential. The movie could also bring in a new antagonist. In the Chronicles of Riddick, the main threat was the Necromongers, a death-worshipping empire that tried to assimilate Riddick into their ranks. In Riddick, the focus shifted to bounty hunters and mercenaries trying to collect the price on his head. If Riddick Furya follows this pattern, then the next villain could be another power-hungry warlord or a new alien species threatening the Furyans. Since the movie is set on Furya, it's likely this enemy is something unique to the planet, maybe a rival faction of survivors who don't trust Riddick, or an external force that sees Furya as valuable for conquest. Another element that Riddick Furya could explore is the fallout from Riddick's brief reign as Lord Marshal of the Necromongers. At the end of the Chronicles of Riddick, he was placed on the throne of the Empire, but by the time Riddick starts, he's already been betrayed and left for dead. The upcoming movie could bring back characters from that storyline, like Vako, who was last seen scheming against Riddick. If Vako or another high-ranking Necromonger is still out there, they might want revenge or see Riddick's return to Furya as an opportunity to strike. There's also room for fresh bounty hunters and mercenaries to enter the picture. The Riddick series has always had a strong focus on dangerous, cutthroat characters hunting Riddick for personal gain, and Furya could introduce a new team of elite hunters who have been tracking him for years. Given that Dave Bautista has worked with Vin Diesel before and has played sci-fi warriors in Guardians of the Galaxy and Dune, he could be a strong choice for a major mercenary role if he returns. In terms of expanded universe material, there are also the Riddick comics and animated projects that have hinted at more elements that could be adapted into live action. The Chronicles of Riddick: Dark Fury, an animated short that bridged Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick, introduced bounty hunters like Junner and Chillingsworth, who had unique weapons and technology. Riddick Furya could take inspiration from these side stories by bringing in new bounty hunters with advanced gear designed specifically to counter Riddick's abilities. Overall, Riddick Furya has the potential to introduce some of the most important characters in the franchise's history. Whether it's other Furyans who survived the Necromonger purge, a new villain who threatens his homeworld, or mercenaries determined to take him down, this movie could greatly expand the Riddick universe while finally giving us answers about his origins. Given that Vin Diesel and David Twohy have spent years developing this story, it's likely they have some big surprises in store, especially when it comes to new faces in the franchise. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, and if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.